Okay, so we're going to go to part 2 here, which is what kind of feelings or what feelings do I get when you bring the different energies through? So once we're connected and we're in session and I'm looking for those negative trapped emotional energies, and emotions are energy in motion, we create that energy when we go through something in our life. In this case, it's something negative. So the responses that I get are not always positive ones, and that's okay. They're very short-lived on my end. It's just the way you're kind of trying to help me understand that energy that you're bringing forward or bringing through. And so occasionally I'll get a headache, and that can be on the top of my head. It can be right here. It could be on half of my head. It can feel like the worst headache or migraine ever, or it could just feel like a really mild, kind of annoying sort of headache. A stress headache, it can feel very similar to those things. And there's varying degrees of intensity. And again, it can be in different parts of my head. A lot of times I will get a very dizzying feeling. So I will all of a sudden feel very dizzy. It could be mild or more mild if it's a less intense energy, or I could feel incredibly dizzy. And so sometimes, if you've seen the lives, you'll see me closing my eyes, kind of taking deep breaths, sort of the same thing you would if you were feeling really dizzy. Usually people know, like, when you're dizzy and nauseous. I don't always get the nausea. Occasionally that has come through, but not nearly as much as feeling dizzy. Dizzy is sort of one of the more prominent things that I get when I perceive a more intense energy. And that, again, is on a scale. It depends on the person. It depends on that energy. It just kind of gives me a very brief idea of maybe how that energy was physically affecting you in the first place, or just how intense it might have been affecting you. And that can be for all of the energies. It's not one specific one that comes across dizzying. It's just sort of the intensity of the energy and the way that you want me to perceive it. And I can also get physical shifts. Sometimes I do get certain pains or discomforts in different parts of my body, and that could be where the energy is affecting you, blocking you, or causing issues. Or it could just be that it's related to certain organs, because again, the rows of the chart that I go through are related to the organs of the body, as they can produce the same vibrational frequency and as energies, as emotions. So that energy can be generating from that part of your body. It can be affecting that part of your body. It's very hard to say. And again, it's very specific to each person and each session. So those are some of the main things that come up. Occasionally I do have different feelings come up, but normally it's the headaches, it's the dizziness, and I do use the pendulum, and the pendulum is very, very light. I've also said this a lot of times. It's like paper light. It's super light. And when someone comes through with a more intense energy, if I'm not feeling physical shifts or anything myself, a lot of times I'll feel a very intense, heavy weight behind that. So instead of feeling like I have a really light paperweight attached to it, like a paper clip or something, I should say, attached to the end of the pendulum, it feels like a rock. It feels like someone's tied something very heavy to the end of it, and I can feel the physical weight behind that energy when I'm holding it up. So those are just some of the more common sensations, and if I can think of certain other ways or the best ways I can describe them to you, I'll do a couple more just to kind of go into more detail of some of the maybe more interesting ones that have come up, or your more unique ones that I have experienced, and I'll let you know when I can sort of figure out the best way to explain them to you.